following program is rated TV-17, containing bad language.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Sexual situations.
Like, you're gonna take your pants off instead?
Nudity.
Sure.
And graphic depictions of nut-crunching dick kicks.
Oh, I just had to kick him the diddly again.
Parental discretion is advised.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ronin Joe Show. It is Sunday. It is 8 p.m. That means we are here starting the week off right. Stranger Things Season 5 is kicking off in November. The trailer just dropped. Looks interesting. We're going to jump into it. Superman in trouble. Is it in trouble or is it just part of the plan? Also, Mark Hamill is out. Does anybody really care? We're going to find out right here on the Ronin Joe Show. Let's go. That's right, it is the Ronin Joe Show. I am your host, Ronin Joe. Feeling good, feeling sexy, feeling hot, ready to roll. Been a couple weeks. I have to say, I'm sorry I missed the last couple weeks. You know, I got stuff to do. This show, I would love to make a permanent show that I do every single Sunday. On call, and here I am, but sometimes life gets in the way, and it just is what it is. But here we are today, and I am excited to see everyone tonight. The chat, you guys to file in like you always do. Let's have a good show. I want to see what you guys are talking about out there. Besides what I'm talking about on the show, feel free to bring anything else up. There's a lot of things happening in the world, not only in pop culture, but also in general. This show is, anything and everything. So let's bring it up. Let's go. Mark Penguin was number one in the chat, number one in my heart, as always, my friend. So that makes you.
You're number one.
You are number one, and you're also.
No, Mr. Penguin. A penguin is a bird that cannot fly. I am a man. I have a name.
And his name is Mark Penguin. Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. We also have Hail the Lore in the house.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yes, sir. Great to see you guys. Duck Bacon is here as well. Says, hail Joe, hail the chat. Hail to you, my friend. By the way, I did see that Incredible Hulk versus Wolverine that you put up the other day, or maybe that was today. I'm not sure. They all blend together. But it looks awesome. If you guys aren't following Duck Bacon on Instagram or X or wherever he's at, definitely go do it. Great follow, great art. As always, I love it. Keith Ward is in the house. First member of the channel, as always, in here, rock and rolling. Great to have you here, brother.
Afternoon. Looks like sex in here.
Yes, it does. Let's go. We have the Gooch in the house, my friend. Jay, what's going on, brother? Says, what's up, everyone? Give her hell tonight, my brother. I will, man. You know I will. And everybody tune in later on at 11 over on Diabolical Souls studio over there. The Gooch and the gang knocking out like they always do. Great conversation and a great panel. Good to see you. We have Christopher Bouchard in the house. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. All right. Let everybody know we're live, by the way. Share it out. Tell people what we're doing. The Ronin Joe Show is live. Let's talk about some fun shit, pop culture. Let's get into it. And I want to see some fun times in the chat tonight, like you always do. Let's do this. All right. Let me. It's just so fun to rock out to this song. It's good shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's stop that. And let's talk about some things. You're welcome, man. You're absolutely welcome. You deserve it. I always have some really good, talented people in the chat. Duck Bacon, YSA's in here. Roy, when he comes in. Man, Dennis Kelly's in here from time to time. I got a lot of good, talented artists, colorists, inkers, creators that come in the chat too. So it's awesome. And I definitely want to share out you guys' stuff and get more eyes on it. Yeah. Sharing is caring. Absolutely. All right. Well, it's been a hell of a fun week. I got to say, coming off the holiday week, the work week was a little bit, it was shorter, but still felt long for some reason. I don't know why. This weekend rolls around. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit more energized, ready to hit the week coming up. I go on vacation in 3 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. We're going out to California, going to go to Disney World. Is that what's out there? Or is that Disneyland? Whatever it is, me and the entire family, is getting together, going to go visit my uncle out there and see some things I've only been to California once when I was touring with my band back in 2014. And I have to say, like, it's a different world out there. So I'm interested in going back out and seeing how it's, if it's still the same, which I'm sure it is. Hail Lore says Joe needs to hit up more cons in the future. I do, man. I want to. It's something that I really want to do. Some of it has to do with the time I have. I got a family, full-time family, so it's kind of hard just to hit up every convention that I can think of, like around this area. But I mean, there's a few. I think I'm going to be going to a convention in Texas next year in March, I believe, like a smaller convention. I was invited as a guest to be out there, so I'll be out there. And who knows? I really would like to. I'd like to get back into the convention scene, but it's not as easy as it seems when it comes to scheduling and all that stuff. But hopefully in the future, we'll see. It's definitely something I want to do, though. Absolutely. Let me bring this where we at here. All right, not doxing anybody. I like it. So a couple of cool things happened just today. This happened yesterday. I'm losing track of time. It's crazy. Okay, yesterday. This dropped yesterday. We talked about this weeks ago when they dropped the teaser trailer for Happy Gilmore. And I was extremely excited because I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. Yeah, not all of his movies are hits. There's a lot of misses there, but I really enjoyed the stuff that he's put out. And generally been a big fan of his over I started watching Adam Sandler movies all the way back at Billy Madison when I was a kid, followed his career through there. So to see Happy Gilmore 2 actually being made and put out was extremely exciting for me. And now we're getting the trailer dropped. And I watched the trailer yesterday, and I got to say, this looks like one hell of a movie. I don't know where you guys in the chat stand as far as fans of Adam Sandler or fans of this movie even happening. I know it's really hard to recapture the magic of a movie 20 some odd years later when it comes to sequels. A lot of times that does not work out. It is what it is. Dumb and Dumber 2, you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of movies that can be decent, but they're not the same, right? So I went into this cautiously optimistic about the trailer. And I got to say, I was really, really excited about it. After I saw it, I was pumped. I'm ready to do this. So let me bring this up. I think the volume should be good. I've been getting dinged for these trailers lately. No strikes or anything, but they definitely hit me with the copyrights. It is what it is. I was happily surprised by the trailer. Me too, man. I'm excited. Haven't shown my wife this yet, but I think she's gonna like it. Netflix. Shout out to Adam Sandler for signing. He was probably one of the first to sign this exclusive Netflix deal where all of his stuff over the last 10 years now, I believe about 8 to 10 years has been released on Netflix. So if anybody's wondering why this is gonna be on Netflix and not in the theaters, that's why he's got an exclusive deal with Netflix. So that's just what it is. I don't personally care. I'm like, let's get into it. Let's watch it, theater or at home. I'm down to do it. So here we go. Happy Gilmore 2. I want to know what you guys think in the comments, but I'm liking this so far. Let's do it.
My name is Happy Gilmore. 30 years ago, I decided to give golf a try.
I got to pause it for just a second. You start this trailer out with that classic Leonard Skinner song from the first movie, Tuesday's Gone with the Wind. And the thing about this movie, I think that always sticks with me personally is the first time I ever watched this movie, I watched it with my dad, my brothers. Well, my dad used to rent movies all the time and for movie night and whatnot, and he would just bring movies home for us to check out or things he deemed were good. This might have been a little bit on the more risque side for the age we were at the time. My mom wasn't too happy with some of the language in the movie, but my dad thought it was hilarious. And this was one of the times where I really connected with my dad, especially with Leonard Skinner in the song. Like, he loved this movie. He used to laugh so hard at this movie. And I connected with him on a bunch of different levels. So I think emotionally getting back to, my dad passed away last year in February. So seeing this come out, I think it just kind of sparks a little bit more, a deeper kind of a sentiment with me when it comes to Happy Gilmore 2.
But even when you're at the top of your game, you can always shank one.
Happy Gilmore sucks.
Oh, eat a bag
He's got to get rid of that beard. That's all I got to say. It's not working for him.
How are you going to put Vienna through ballet school? It's $75,000 a year. That's 4 years. That's 333 grand.
That's terrible math, Johnny. It's 300 grand. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Let them see the happy I fell in love with.
Come on, you got to do it.
I love that a lot of the original cast is back. Obviously, except for Carl Weathers, who passed away, rest in peace. But a lot of the original cast is back. I think that's what makes this movie so awesome, as well as just bringing in a lot of the new cast. This is a wrestler, right? From AEW, I think. I can't remember his name, but he looks familiar.
With that,
For you wrestler fans out there.
I know how to do it, Dad. Let's go.
What the hell is happening?
Happy Gilmore is breaking in yet another caddy he just met.
All right, we're gonna go. See, but you bring those. Those always come. All right, that's it. They got a strap.
I love these sequels where they're not necessarily reboots or anything like that, but they play on a lot of the tropes from the first movie, you know, as callbacks for the fans, you know, which I think is good and stuff like this. You know, we got the caddy, we all know he got the bum in the first movie as a caddy, and it adds it connects the movies good, the stories together. As far as like, obviously you're going to get the older guys. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the older audience like me. You want to mesh it with a new audience, but still give enough for the old audience who was there in the beginning.
If you want to use this track.
Happy Gilmore didn't have things flowing on the first film.
Check out the name tag, grandson.
Yes. Yes. I love that they got Ben Stiller back as this character. That is so awesome.
I got you a little something there, Pop. Everyone is talking about comeback kid.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore.
You've been watching me play, Mr. Gilmore. So inspiring.
My dad loved you, man.
Nice.
I am so sorry.
Give him here. I got some Gorilla Glue.
Remember the happy place I went to? You go to yours.
Oh my God, Rory! Jackass, bingo.
Oh, that's awesome. So I'm assuming that is that giant dude from the first movie. That's got to be like his kid or something. That's awesome. There we go.
Life for me. Why would I want to steal the life of somebody who eats pieces of shit for breakfast?
Oh man, that looks so good. July 25th, Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be hitting Netflix. I'm excited about it, man. One thing I love about Adam Sandler's movies is they're funny slapstick comedies, but a lot of times they have a lot of heart in them as well. And I think that's what makes a really good comedy is it's just you tie in a bunch of different things. You don't expect to have emotional beats in comedies, and when you put them in there, it just works so well, and it really helps with the, what do you want to call it, pacing or whatever, just the entertainment value of the emotions that you're going to go through with the movie. So this one looks like it's going to play on a lot of stuff that we all loved from the original Happy Gilmore when that came out when we were kids, and then just add, something new and fresh to it. It's interesting that says this film is not rated yet. Being on Netflix, do they even have ratings on Netflix? Maybe they do. I'm not sure. But I'm down though. I'm extremely excited just because why not? They don't make a lot of good movies, and I know we're tired of the sequels. Like Hollywood's got no new ideas and all that kind of stuff. But this is the kind of sequel that I'm excited about. Like when the actor is getting older, I have no problem with them going back and playing their greatest hits. Whether the movie breaches the magic of the original or not, I like to see it. I've said it before. I'd love to see Jim Carrey go back and do like Ace Ventura again, or something from back in the early days. I know he already did the Dumb and Dumber, so you're probably not going to get a third one with that, which is probably a good thing. But an Ace Ventura movie, a new one of that would be awesome. There's a leaderboard now. Oh, yeah. It just, like, the last couple weeks that appeared, it's just right on top of the chat here in StreamYard. You can click it on or click it off. I've been, now it's off, but as soon as somebody comments again, it'll be back on. But yeah, I've been using it. I dig it. It's like it adds something, to the whole aesthetic. I like StreamYard's been doing some good stuff. They kind of pissed me off a few months ago when it was kind of acting all funky, but I feel like they're working some things out, adding some new things to it. And I'm digging it. I like it. Let me Get myself up here. So yeah, Happy Gilmore 2. What are you guys thinking in the chat? Oh, we got Wiley J Draws in the house. Says, Hail Duck Bacon. Good to see you. Okay, what question did I ask? Oh, the wrestler. Okay, what is his name? I knew he looked familiar. I don't really watch AEW, but I've seen him before. That's what I thought it was him. But no, it's cool because in this movie, I have no idea what it's going to be about, but it looks like I'm assuming those are his kids. I think. It seems like obviously he's got his daughter, but those might be, three. Like he's got 3 boys as well in the movie. I don't know, but I think it's these. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, it does make me feel old as well. But there's no way around it, I'm trying to embrace aging gracefully as we go, just trying to, be cool with being like 43, and knowing that all of my favorite movies and a lot of my favorite actors are getting older. A lot of times when I see an actor that was just like the shit when I was growing up, see them now and they're in their 60s, late 50s, 60s, whatever. It's just like, wow, man, where did the time go? It is kind of depressing, but at the same point, seeing a movie like this be made, and I think the reason why this movie is going to be good because you got the original, guys back doing it, and I don't know how much Adam Sandler was involved in the first one, but I know he's got to be really hands-on with this one. It seems like everything he does for Netflix is very hands-on, and I think this is going to be treated with the respect that it deserves, and they're going to try to make it the best movie they can because who knows how long he's going to be acting for. I mean, how old is Adam Sandler? Let's look it up. Let's see. Hey, Siri, how old is Adam Sandler? Okay, he's only 58 years old. Not too bad. I thought he was in his 60s. So he's still, he's got a little ways to go. But, I've said this before. Give us another Billy Madison movie. How cool would it be to see Billy Madison, grown up now in his 50s after everything he went through in that first movie, see where he's at now. You could do that kind of stuff and you could do it well. If it's done by the people that have the care and love for the characters and the story to do it, I'm all for it. Yeah, I like the teaser, but a lot of people kind of pushed back on the teaser when it came out, and I get it. The trailer looks a lot better, a lot more emotional with the different songs being played. The comedy seems like it's there, so I've got high hopes that this is going to be really good. That's a possibility, man. I swear that dude looks the same for the last 30 years. Yeah, he doesn't age. MJF. Okay, yeah, that's the dude's name. That's right. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that because I wasn't even planning on talking about that, but I saw that drop yesterday. I was like, let's bring it up real quick because it's definitely something that I'm excited about, and I'm looking forward to checking it out as soon as I can. All right. Speaking of nostalgia, there is. Did you guys also see the Return of King of the Hill? Now, I heard this was happening a while ago, but I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. And I wasn't sure. I really didn't read too much about it. So I saw them drop the teaser trailer or the opening credits or whatever the other day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. This is one of those things like, I know Beavis and Butthead came back and I didn't really watch it. I don't know if it was good. Some people said they liked it. I never really checked, so I wasn't sure. So, I mean, if you guys have watched it in the chat, let me know if you liked it or not. When it comes to King of the Hill, I liked it back in the day. For the cartoon, it wasn't like a diehard fan of it, but it was fun. It was a fun kind of a adult comedy, or I guess in that primetime area with comedies and stuff. But let's see, King of the Hill returns his first revival clip. Unlike the rest of us mere mortals, animated characters need not age. Although I do like the fact that they're playing age into the storyline and they're aging Bobby up. I think that's cool. Instead of just kind of picking up where they left off, I like the fact that we're doing a time jump. Let's see where they are now, as opposed to kind of like what they're saying here with the Simpsons, where it's the same age for the last 30 years. Bart Simpson has been in fourth grade for decades. Homer hasn't gotten any balder in that time either. Man, I wish that was the case. I'd take that if that was real. So it's always kind of interesting when the characters on an animated series do get older. That's what happened on the TV revival of King of the Hill. So the only thing that sucks is I don't have Hulu. I don't want to just get it for this. Who knows? Maybe we used to have it, but it's just you have so many streaming services. Eventually, it's like you're spending more money on the streaming service than you ever did for like DirecTV or whatever they have now. It's been so long because I don't even have regular TV. Its central couple, Hank and Peggy Hill, are now retired age, and their lovable little son, Bobby, ain't so little anymore. Now he's in his 20s. The image above says it all. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be like a bum. I wonder if they're going to have him as a character if he's like, kind of a bum, still living at home, or if he's like actually accomplished. That'd be kind of interesting if he actually went up and like was kind of successful. But I have a feeling that he's probably going to be a little bit more like a failure to launch kind of thing. A series created by Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, premiered in 1997. Jeez, you want to talk about feeling old, Wiley J? There you go, right there. I was just a kid, just a teenager in 97. I think I was 16. Yeah, about that. 17. And endured for 13 seasons or 250 episodes in its initial run, even though the show never quite attained the same level of cultural ubiquity. As its longtime lead in The Simpsons, both Judge and Daniels returned to work the new version of the show as executive producers. Whoever in Patterson's served as showrunner, blah, 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 blah. First announced in 2023, Revival is going straight to the streaming. Hulu just revealed the opening credits of the new season, which blazes through the years since King of the Hill went off the air to catch us up on the Hill's lives. Just 30 seconds, watch the clip. So I don't know if you guys have seen this clip or not. But it does look kind of interesting. Let me know what you guys are thinking down here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Watch a little bit of King of the Hill. It's all right overall. Yeah, it was fun. It was a funny comedy. Like, it wasn't as edgy as Beavis and Butthead. They toned it down. But I thought it had some quality, lessons to be learned in it. And there were some fun characters, Boomhauer and all that. Although, didn't the actor that played Boomhauer, he passed away, didn't he? I think so. I wonder who they recast for him. Heath Ward says, I love the King of the Hill, but I'm surprised if this turns out good. There is a worry, although I will say, I kind of burned out on primetime cartoons. Yeah, no, I am too. And I've been that way for a while. Although this has me intrigued. But Heath, there is always things to worry about when they reboot something, because you never know what Hollywood's going to do with these franchises and what they're going to put into it message wise, but I have to say, I think that the creators of the show were pretty base from what I can remember. So I don't think this is going to go all crazy political or anything. So let's check it out real quick. There we go. So there was this, and I don't really know what the show is about. I don't know. I haven't read this article, so I don't know if they give a synopsis or whatever. But it seems like they move out for a little while, as this van is showing. It's just the three of them for a bit, and they get a new guy. I'm sure they'll bring this guy into the cast, and we'll figure out who he is. He's either renting the house or he's living there now, because they do show Hank moving back with his family. So this, now this is why I think this is going to be, I think this is going to be good, because obviously this is during the pandemic, and or maybe it's, I don't know, which one of these guys passed away. The voice actor of one of these guys passed away. I'm not sure. But you got Boomhauer here with, I think that's his name, right? Am I messing up characters there? Not wearing the mask. I like that. That's spot on, right? Spot on. Vote Gribble for mayor. Yeah, see? There we go. Bum. I think it's cool. I'm excited about it. Again, I don't know if I'm going to get Hulu. I cannot say that. Hulu. I don't know if I'm going to get Hulu or not, but I definitely want to check it out. Like I said, I was never die hard at King of the Hill, but I enjoyed it when I did watch it. I didn't watch it for all 13 seasons, but I watched it early on, and there was some funny stuff like what is that episode where I don't know you, that's my purse, where Bobby's going around kicking everybody in the nuts for the self-defense. That was legitimately one of the funniest episodes I've seen. Statistic Zero is in house. Statistical Zero. It was funnier if you came from a small town. That could be, a relatability. It could be. I grew up in a small town, that's for sure. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But I like it. I'm excited. I think it could be good as long as I keep the political, the normal political noise out of it. Although I do think that if you approach things in a comical way from both sides, it can work. Like one of the things I get tired of in any TV series is having anything pander to one side or the other. If you play things more down the middle and you can laugh at both sides when it comes to politics, religion, race, sexuality, all the hot button topics, if you can just play it down the middle and you can poke fun at everything, because that's comedy, right? Like I think people have forgotten what comedy is supposed to be in this world. The world now that we live in, where everyone's so damn sensitive to everything, that comedy is supposed to be that bridge where you can make fun of these things and we can all laugh at each other's differences and still be cool with each other at the end. I think if this show can be that, I think they have a lot of good material to play with, especially with the way the characters were in this show, on both sides of the aisle and all that kind of stuff. So I think it could be pretty fun when we actually get into it. So we'll see. I'll definitely try to check it out. Maybe I'll get like a free trial of Hulu just to see if it's any good. So, I don't know. Actually, let me go back to that page real quick. I don't have to bring it up for you guys, but I'm curious of something. So after years of working a propane job in Saudi Arabia to earn their retirement nest egg, Hank and Peggy Hill returned to a changed Arlen, Texas, to reconnect with old friends Dale, Boomhauer, and Bill. Meanwhile, Bobby is living his dream as a chef in Dallas and enjoying his 20s with his former classmate Connie, Joseph, and Chan. Okay, right on. Well, there's a little bit of a breakdown. I was wondering if they had something in there because I wasn't sure. I didn't read the article, but now I did. We got Twisted Dreams in the house. What's going on, brother? Great to see you.
Subject's notes. The extraction theory papers. Am I the only one who did the reading?
Sometimes you are, man. Great to see you here. We were just looking at the King of the Hill revival, or the Revival King, whatever it's called, that they are starting, or that are going to come out sometime this year. And I think it looks pretty decent. I really do. Okay. When I said earlier in the show, I was like, Mark Hamill's out. I don't know if anybody really cares, but it's something I saw and I thought it was kind of interesting. And I'm trying to think of this from a perspective of an actor, not necessarily as the person that Mark Hamill has become, that is very insufferable in a lot of ways. And it really sucks because I try to separate politics and art and just anything in art as much as I can, because I try not to let people's personal lives, their opinions, whoever they are, to affect what I like that they do in the industry. Mark Hamill is one of those guys that really, oh man, he makes that hard. He really makes it hard because he's just so vocal about, he's just so deranged about everything. And I don't care where you stand on stuff, but you have to know that what you say is going to affect your fan base in one way or the other. That's why I think it's probably the smartest for actors and creators or whatever not to dip their toes too much into things beyond just opinions, because it can be, it can be damaging. And Mark Hamill has definitely damaged his reputation with me. And I grew up a huge fan of Star Wars and Mark's roles in general. His voice acting, I think he's a great voice actor, legendary on the Joker and a bunch of other voices he's done over the years. And I was extremely excited when they were doing the new Star Wars trilogy before it happened, when the rumors were, when we were all excited right before we actually saw it. And then I was excited to see him on screen again and all that kind of stuff. And then it quickly went downhill and just a bunch of other stuff. So I've been pretty disappointed in Mark Hamill for a while, but I did see this article about him saying that he was done with Star Wars and he's not coming back for Star Wars 10. Which, if you guys don't know, I guess they're making another Star Wars movie. And I don't know if it's another trilogy or what, but apparently they didn't have their fill of the backlash or the pushback of the prequel, not the prequel, but the sequel trilogy. And they're jumping back in with Daisy Ridley's character, Rey. Like, it was, side tangent of all of this, I don't understand why. It wasn't a popular character. Why would they go back down this road again to, center a trilogy of movies, or at least one movie that they might be making into a trilogy, around a character that was widely disliked and nobody cared about? It doesn't make any sense. Like, they never learn. And that's disappointing. It's disappointing. A little mystery never hurt a creator. That's true. No, I agree. 100%. I get vocal sometimes in my opinions and I state them, but you want to try to do it in a way where you're not alienating anybody. Like, I'm like, this is what I believe. You can believe what you believe, and we're fine. We'll still be friends. I'm not going to look at you any different. But it's when you start attacking people over their opinions and their beliefs, that's when it really kind of goes south. And that's what these people just can't seem to stop doing, which is attack others because we don't share their same belief system or whatever. Anyway, getting to the article, says Rey's journey into the Star Wars galaxy is set to continue with the upcoming movie New Jedi Order. Very, very inventive title there. Which kind of sucks. If you're talking about creating a new Jedi Order and that's coming from Rey's character, I mean, but fans shouldn't expect to see her mentor, Luke Skywalker, make an appearance. In an interview with Comic Book to promote his new movie, Life of Chuck, sounds stupid, Hamill was asked if he would return as Luke's Force ghost in the New Jedi Order. Though the actor is forever grateful he played such a meaningful role in Star Wars franchise, he believes it is time for the Lucas film to move past the legacy characters and focus entirely on the younger generation. Well, you got to kinda, because Carrie Fisher's passed. You killed Han Solo, and you killed Luke Skywalker. The only one you could really bring back is Luke Skywalker, which, if you ever did that, you could do that if you were telling a good story, you could actually absolutely do that and it would work. But no one's got any faith that they can actually do that. Hamill says, I'm so grateful to George Lucas for letting me be a part of that back in the day. The humble days when George Lucas called Star Wars the most expensive, low-budget movie ever made, Hamill said. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen the documentary on the making of Star Wars, I highly recommend you do. I think it's really cool. Everything they did to make that movie and how nobody thought it was going to be successful, and it just exceeded expectations on its way. It's a great documentary if you guys can find it. I have no idea what it's called, but I highly recommend that you check it out. Got Rick Saylor in the house. What's going on, brother?
Common thread in all of my failed schemes is human stupidity. People are just too stupid to accept me as their leader.
That is true. That is true. Member of the channel, Rick Saylor's in the house. Can we just watch him try and catch his... Thank you for reminding me. I almost forgot about that. Yeah. Now that's a moment. We never expected it to become a permanent franchise and a part of a pop culture like that. But my deal is, I had my time. I'm appreciative of that, but I really think that they should focus on the future and all the new characters. But should they, though? I mean, probably, but not these characters. Hamill then made the joke about another reason why he wouldn't return to Star Wars. And by the way, when I disappeared in The Last Jedi, I left my robes behind, and there's no way I'm going to appear as a naked Force ghost. After starring in the original Star Wars film, Hamill reprised Luke Skywalker for 3 installments of the sequel trilogy, his biggest role in the movies being in The Last Jedi, where a jaded, more cynical Luke teaches Rey in the ways of the Force. Did he really teach him, though? I mean, teach her, but that's the thing right there. Like, this is where you lose it. And this is actually where you lost Hamill, too. And one of the things I do respect about Hamill, and I agree with him on, is he was legitimately upset that Rian Johnson wanted to go this way with Luke Skywalker's character. And now what better way, or what better voice to hear from the guy that played him for so many years? Like, what should Luke have been in The Last Jedi? There were so many rumors when that movie was coming out of what we were going to see out of Luke. I don't know if you guys remember, but we spent 2 years, my buddies and I, theorizing what we were going to see in The Last Jedi. And we were talking about, man, we're going to see, Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. We're going to see his power set. And we're talking about all the things we saw in games, and people are talking about books and all this theology and stuff when it comes to Luke Skywalker. And there were rumors that we were going to see him take down a Star Destroyer with his hands, with the Force and all this kind of stuff. So we were so hyped up for what this character was going to be. And then they gave us what they gave us. And you want to talk about, subverting expectation for the fan base, and just what a missed opportunity. It still pisses me off when I think about it, because Force Awakens was good. It was a good nostalgia trip. It was a good semi kind of throwback reboot, whatever you want to call it, to that movie. It was fine. I had no real problems with it. I was never a big fan of Rey's character. But I could deal with it, and I didn't even mind them killing off Han Solo. I just didn't like the fact that they didn't take the chance to get all the legacy characters in one scene together, which is another, complaint that Hamill had with the whole thing. It was just handled very bad. Like, how did they mess this up? How did they flub this up to the point that they did? I don't understand it. But anyway, he's come out a lot and pushed back against Rian Johnson and what they did to Luke Skywalker's character. So I don't think that he wants to do anything that's related to that, because to him, that's not the Luke Skywalker character. That's not what Luke would have become. They completely destroyed who he was, the legend of Luke Skywalker, in this sequel trilogy. And there's no going back from that. So I think, kudos to Mark Hamill. As much as I don't like the dude personally, he really just rubs me the wrong way. But I do like the fact that he's kind of like, he's just done with it. Let's not mess that character up anymore. Just move on, do what you're going to do, and let it fail. So then they go on and talk about the new Jedi Order and like all this kind of stuff. And I just, I don't have much hope for it. I don't think it's going to be any good. I think it's going to be another flop, yet another Lucasfilms flop, which how many are they going to just let happen? Everybody thought that they would kind of learn their lesson after, the fuck was the last one called? I can't remember what the last movie was called. I think I watched it when I hit the streaming. I watched it once. I wasn't even paying that much attention to it. I just remember something about Palpatine coming back, and Rey becoming a Skywalker somehow. Like that's all I remember about that movie. So it was such bad writing, such bad produced movies, that they're going down the same path now with Rey as the lead character. And maybe the Mandalorian movie will be good. I'm hoping that would be good. Right now, people are 50-50, I guess, on Andor. I think it's the most boring thing I've ever watched. Although some people like the espionage feel of that show, but they're not in good. They're not in good settings right now. I really worry, like, you're gonna put the death nail in this coffin if you do Star Wars 10 with Rey's character, and it's just as much garbage as the last 3 movies you gave us. Or let's say 2, all right? Because Force Awakens was all right. I know some people still don't like it, but that was all right. In my opinion, the last 2 were just not that good. I mean, this could be it, man. This could be the end of the franchise, and they're just going to keep on, driving it into the ground as much as they can, because who knows why. Oh, geez. Modern Star Wars is the equivalent to ass cancer. That's pretty bad. Hojo's in the house. What's going on, brother? Just take a pause from all the Star Wars stuff for about 5 years, then come back to it and try not to be stupid about it. Yeah, I think that's what they should do. And I mean, how long has it been since the last one? What was the name of the last one, by the way, guys? Does anybody know out there? Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, something was whatever the last one was called. I have not been a fan since Disney bought Lucasfilms. Yeah, me either, probably. I mean, look what they produced. I mean, I know a lot of people liked Clone Wars. Was that the animated show? A lot of people dug that. And Rebels, I think a lot of people liked as well. But as far as the films go, Rogue One was good. I always got to preface that. Like, the sequels were not that good, but Rogue One was actually pretty good. I liked it. Obviously, that iconic shot of Darth Vader at the end, just kicking ass, was the selling point for that movie, and rightfully so, because it was very well done. Even if it was a little cheese thrown in there for nostalgia sake, I liked it, and I was all about it. And that's probably it. not much has happened since then. If they were smart, they would go back and do Knights of the Old Republic and actually show a true history of how the Sith came to be. They had 2 amazing video games that they can pull from. Not hard. Yeah, that was another conversation with me and my friends all the time, was like, if they adapt all these old, well, not even old, but these gaming storylines that were based on the lore and everything, like, you can make some awesome movies about that. Instead, I like the continuation of the story. Like, I don't mind that. Like, let's do that, but let's do it better. There's lots of books and lots of history that was written after the original Star Wars that you could have dove into when it came to Luke's kids, all this kind of stuff that might have been a lot better. It probably would have been a lot better than what they gave us. Yeah, of course, Knights of the Old Republic would have been great. I always thought if they had done like a solo Darth Vader movie telling that time after Order 60, was it 66? I'm not a Star Wars expert, by the way. Like, I'm a casual fan of the show and the movies. I love it, but I'm not, in the weeds of knowing every single thing. But they've shown that where he's actually actively hunting, going down and hunting all the Jedi across the galaxy. That would have been really cool to see it from a villain's point of view and actually be able to dive into that character, Darth Vader, because there's so many interesting things about that character they could have got into, and instead they just don't. It's one of those frustrating things that they'll never get a chance to actually do all the cool things that they could do. Oh shit. Shots fired. Star Wars is inferior to Star Trek. Here's the thing. I know there's this whole like Trekkie versus Star Wars fans in the lore of nerdom. I like both of them. I think they're great. I think both movies, both shows, everything about the franchises are good. They're different, and they should be different, I'm 50-50 on it. Like, if you want good, space battles and action, you go to Star Wars. They've got the whole religious like lore of the Force and everything. That's cool. And if you want some more like kind of grounded exploratory shows, Star Trek, which I love. Star Trek Next Generation I grew up on. I was a huge fan of that. Deep Space Nine, the movies, big fans of all that stuff. So I'm a fan of both, so I'll say equal. Let's go 50-50 on that, Hojo. Rick Saylor, member of the channel, says, when you say your friends, is that your wife and your daughter? Nah, man, this is before I was married. Think about when this movie came out. It was when Force Awakens came out in 2015, I think, and it was 2 years until Return of the Jedi. Yeah. No, that's a shot. That's shots fired, my friend. That's shots fired. I'm just giving you shit, Joe. It's our turn to watch the other fan bases suffer. We have our own problems with Paramount. Yeah. Battlestar Galactica Revival was the best sci-fi ever made. You can quote me. I like the original Battlestar Galactica, like the original, when that was on syndication or whatever, back in the 80s, when I used to catch, like, when I was really, I'm talking about really, really young. Like, that was cool, I dug the Star Trek when they went back into Star Trek 4 to San Francisco. Yeah, that was fun. That was something that was actually that was one of my favorite Star Trek movies at the time, until they came with Star Trek 6. Star Trek 6 was really good. I like Star Trek 6. Kirk and all them. They're fun characters, great characters. Again, I like them both. Both franchises are great. Yeah, they're both terrible now. Yeah, now they are. I don't even know what's going on with the Star Trek franchises these days. I'm actually probably one of the few people that liked Picard season 3, and that was just for pure nostalgia. And I'll say this, like, I love nostalgia, right? Because look, I'm getting older. I said before earlier in the show, we're talking about Happy Gilmore. My favorite actors are getting older, characters are getting older. It's fun to see them get together. And although there was things wrong with that season and whatever, it was fun to see the original cast of the Star Trek The Next Generation get together in Picard season 3 and have a final adventure. And I think that's fine. Like, I'm not a critic. I'm not going to be a heavy critic about TV series and all this kind of stuff when, and just really break things down and all this, and just bitch about every single thing. Other people can do that way smarter than me. I'm very easily entertained. Just give me something that I like, and I'll dig it. Just don't, keep all the political and all that shit out of it, and I'm usually pretty good. And yeah, Picard had its stuff. There was a lot of things I didn't like about Picard, but that last season, just seeing all those characters come together, I mean, how can you not? Again, I said it with Happy Gilmore. There's a lot of that stuff that reminds me of my dad because we used to watch Star Trek every Thursdays on what was it? Was it CBS? Was it ABC? I can't remember. Whatever Next Generation was on. I used to watch it with my dad all the time. My dad was a huge fan of it. So I got into it because of my dad. So it reminds me of my dad, just like Happy Gilmore. So a lot of that stuff is always just kind of a throwback. It's nostalgia, but also it's connections I have with my dad, So it was kind of cool too, because my dad hadn't passed away yet. And I could call him up and be like, dude, I was like, check this out. I was like, I think you like Picard season 3. It's got all the old characters in it. It's fun. He checked out, he liked it, So that was kind of a cool thing to connect with again before his passing. Star Trek SG-1 is my favorite. My dad was into that. That's one I never got into though. Stargate is shit. That's my number 2. I like the Stargate movie. The TV series I never got into for some reason. I don't know why. A lot of people liked it. But like I always compared it to the movies or to the movie, and the movie was just so badass. I was watching the TV series, and I was just like, "What is this? Like, I don't get it." But I do know a lot of people like it. It's slow and boring. I can't honestly remember unless you're talking about the new one, but like the old one, I just remember bits and pieces. Right? It's a slow burn. I like slow burns if it's compelling. Like a slow burn can be compelling if the story is good. It doesn't always have to be action, although me, I like the action. But you can have a slow burn and still have it be a very compelling storyline. Oh, shit. That's how I feel about Breaking Bad. I can't stand that show. It was slow and boring. No shit, man. I love that show. It was so good. Battlestar Galactica original is boring. I've never seen Revival, though. Okay. Neither have I. Yeah. All right. Well, I like sci-fi stuff no matter what. I'll probably always do like sci-fi when it comes to space and travel and space fights and aliens and all that. I mean, that stuff is still so good. The Dune stuff that they're doing, I've enjoyed the Dune movies, and I don't know too much about Dune, to be honest with you. Like, I was never a huge fan of the original, but I've enjoyed the remakes. Farscape, now you're talking, man. Now you're talking. Farscape was highly underrated. I liked that. That was a good show. All right. What we got here? I need to close out some of these windows. Just so my computer doesn't say, fuck you, like it's been doing. All right. So, there has been a fair amount of talk around Superman 2025. Now, a lot of people are talking about this show or this movie going back and doing reshoots. And of course, here's the thing I can't stand about nerdom and pop culture talk that I try not to get into too much on this show, because I want to give you just kind of an honest opinion of how I feel about most everything. By the way, wherever you're watching, please hit the like button, share it around, let people know that we're live. Come in and join the conversation in the chat over here on YouTube. Come to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like it, comment below. Do it before and after the show. I'll engage with you and have some good conversations. What I try to do on this show is keep it completely honest to how I feel without trying to push it too far into the trends of getting the clicks, getting the likes, rage bait and all that kind of stuff, or drama farming or anything like that. So the typical thing is when people dislike something, and I know that there's a civil war between the Superman fans when it comes to the Snyderverse and it comes to the Gunverse, whatever you want to call it. And I get that. I'm somebody that can stand in the middle here and be like, I really liked the Snyderverse. I see the problems that were with it, but I really liked it. And I'm cautiously optimistic about the Gunverse, I guess. I have a lot of trepidations when it comes to James Gunn and a lot of worries when it came to Superman. Now, one thing I'll say that I'm hearing out of this that makes me worry a little bit is the humor. And I said this before, if you guys have been watching the show, that I was worried that you're going to bring too much of Guardians of the Galaxy into Superman. Guardians of the Galaxy humor worked for Guardians of the Galaxy. It doesn't work for a character like Superman. I was worried that, thank you, brother. Yes, I'll preach it all day long. Let's go. V was good too. Yeah. I liked V. That was fun. Superman doesn't work with the goofy humor of Guardians of the Galaxy. So I saw this article. I see that they're going back and doing reshoots. And of course, everyone's like, oh, the movie sucks. The screenings were bad. This, that, you know. I'm not going that far just yet. But this article, I thought, covered it pretty good. It says Superman panic, insiders downplay Gunn's course correction. Okay. Reports continue to swirl around James Gunn's Superman following claims of goofy humor, political jabs, and the last-minute changes. See, this is what really worries me here. I am really, 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 I'm going to stress this, worried that this is going to, be in the movie too much. And I love the character of Superman. Probably one of my first favorite superheroes, going back to Christopher Reeves, Superman, going back to, remember the 80s, they had that Superboy TV show in the 80s. If you're in your 40s or late 30s, you know what I'm talking about. As a kid, seeing that stuff was amazing, right? Because you still have that imagination when you're, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, that superheroes can exist, right? That you're going to grow up into a world where superheroes exist, or maybe you're going to get powers and become a superhero. So seeing that on TV was a hell of a connection, watching the Superman movies. And I was a big fan of the Superboy TV series. By the way, I think you can find it on YouTube. And I tried watching one the other day, and I was like, oh my God, it's a horrible, it's a horrible show. It's so bad. But at the time, as a kid, it was great. And then Lois and Clark Superman, I thought was awesome. Again, I love the character of Superman. But he's supposed to stand for certain things. He got a certain feel and a tone to the character that can allow for humor, but too much of the dick and fart jokes that Gunn could bring into it has got me really worried. So when I read this article, I see this claims of goofy humor, political jabs. That worries me too. Like, why we don't need that. And last minute changes, whatever. But the goofy stuff, I'm worried about. It says, but now insiders are pushing back, saying it's all part of the normal post-production process, and that the studio is actually happy with what Gunn has delivered. This article by where are we at? Cosmic Book News has a bunch of pictures in here and stuff like that. Again, I gotta say, I hate the suit. The costume is horrible. It will always be horrible. They better redesign that with the next Superman movie. Despite online noise, Hollywood Reporter reports there were only 3 days of pickups in Atlanta, far from the claims of full reshoot. And that's the thing too. Like, you never know who to trust, right? When this stuff talks about reshoots, and you got all the people on YouTube making videos, insiders, everybody's got inside sources about like how the movie's crap, how they had to reshoot so much. And every movie is like this. And you get people to come out and refute it. You never know who to trust. So take everything with a grain of salt, in my opinion, in my experience. So maybe they did a lot of reshoots, maybe they didn't. I don't know. According to this article, it was more of a standard kind of, let's fill in some blanks here, add to some scenes, switch some stuff up. According to the THR's email newsletter, changes were made, but insiders described them as typical to any blockbuster, fine-tuning its final cut. The site fires back against claims of changes with the composer. I actually liked the composer. I thought the whole John Williams score on the guitar was cool, because you kept that nostalgia there with the classic score of Christopher Reeve's Superman, but then added in some just updated touch to it. They kind of did the same thing with like Halloween, when they rebooted Halloween in 2018, when John Carpenter came in. I think he worked with what's his face from 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor, on the third one, but they kind of updated the classic score, so it was something new to the film, but also had that like nostalgia feel to it. So I like it. Here's what we know. The movie had 3 days of pickups in Atlanta, but no major reshoots. John Murphy started as a composer, providing the John Williams-inspired electric guitar riff, and David Fleming was brought in as an additional composer early on this year. Both of their music will be in the movie, as well as plenty of Williams's tones. I think that's great. So, one of the things I think James Gunn is doing well is leaning into what everybody loved about the classic Christopher Reeves Superman, right? Especially that score. And I thought Man of Steel had a really good score too. Don't get me wrong, but there is something just generational about that score. Like when you hear that Superman music, it just sparks something. Like if you were there, whether you're an adult or you were a kid at that time, there was something special about that when it came to Superman. So I like that they're kind of tinkering with it and bringing that back. I'm a Superman fan, and I want Superman to succeed. Fans of actors and directors want this movie to fail. Yeah, that's one thing I try not to get into. And like I said before, I can say I was a big fan of Cavill. He's my favorite Superman. Will always probably be my favorite Superman. I liked Man of Steel. I did. I liked the darker version of Superman. I saw the vision that Zack Snyder had with that character of showing how he's going to become the character we know and love in the comics and why he becomes that way. He's just taking a different route. It was a different way to go. I didn't mind it. But I'm also not somebody who's going to sit here and just shit on this movie just because I was unhappy that Cavill wasn't cast or they didn't go ahead. Now, I will say that the Cavill Superman movie that was projected to be, I thought sounded like it was going to be great. You're going to have Brainiac, you're going to have a bunch of different things, and it sounded like it was going to be really cool. We were going to get Hal Jordan. It's a lot of cool things if they had gone that way with Cavill's movie. It didn't happen, so here we are. So now I'm trying to judge this on what it is and not get too up in arms about it. And, I'm not going to waste my time with it. Best sci-fi TV show was Lost in Space, hands down. Dr. Smith was the shit. The suit is baggy and it has lines going through it, which is, it's dumb. It doesn't make sense. I said this before when it comes to Superman suits. The dude, he's not a god, but he's got a power set that's godly-like, right? So he doesn't need padding. He doesn't need armor. He can literally just go out in tights, which is why tights don't work for a lot of characters. I mean, look at Avengers and Captain America and the original iteration of that in the MCU when they're kind of having more of that kind of classic tight suit and it looks stupid until they kind of updated it for Winter Soldier. It didn't work. But for Superman, it works because he doesn't need much, So having this baggy jumpsuit, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why does he need padding? He's Superman, The site's sources say James Gunn isn't afraid of making changes, and again, it's all part of the process. And there have been a few test screenings. I'm not a defender of Gunn, but none of this is unusual. Says one source with knowledge of the inner workings of DC. It's part of honing the movie, any movie. Any person close to the production echoed the sentiment. Gunn's absolutely tests. He absolutely tinkers. He's not one of those directors who can't take suggestions, says another person. So far, this article is really defending everything that's going on. And I have to say, I've heard some things coming out of test screenings of Superman that aren't ideal. I know the studio says here, like they've had, after The Flash, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, all tank, Superman is being treated as a make or break film for DC. It looks like they're doing everything they can to get it right and properly launch the new DC universe, fingers crossed. They have to. Okay. As much as I like the Snyderverse, I will definitely say there were problems with it. A lot of people didn't seem to like it. The movies didn't do as well. And they scrapped the whole thing. They scrapped the entire thing that Zack Snyder had put in place, this whole big epic run of story, telling he was going to do in the movies, completely scrapped to restart it. And they just had flop after flop after flop. We all know the Flash was garbage. Cool to see Michael Keaton back as Batman. But the Flash was garbage. Shazam 2, I didn't mind. The Shazam movies were fine. They were just, to me, they were comical fillers that were just fun entertainment for about 2 hours to watch. It's all good. Never saw Blue Beetle, never interested me. I didn't even see Aquaman 2. Aquaman 1 was okay, didn't mind it, but Aquaman 2, I was like, I don't really have an interest in it. Black Adam was okay, that wasn't bad, but they haven't had a lot of hits. And this has got to land. Much like I said for Marvel with Fantastic Four, that's got to land. There are a lot of things that need to go right with these two movies to keep these things alive. Now, I don't think if these movies completely flop that you're going to see the next day everything crumble and just fall apart. There's still going to be sequels to Superman. There's going to be the plans that Marvel has going forward. But we're in a point of time here where there's been so much garbage over the last... When did Endgame come out? Was that 16, 17? When Endgame came out? Everything since then, except for No Way Home, has been really bad. And you're also talking on the DC side of things. There's a lot of contention between the fans when it comes to the Batman I personally liked it, but a lot of people didn't like it. And there's a lot of people that are excited about Gunn, a lot of people that don't like it. So, I mean, this movie has to legitimately be good and reach across the aisle, to use a political term, and really bring all the fans together and be like, you know what, this is a good movie. And the people running this, writing it, and filming it are going to take the care that it deserves to make this a good movie going forward. And maybe we can trust them with the rest of the DC universe. Fantastic Four has to be the same way. Although I'm not going to talk about it tonight because we're running a little late and I want to get into the Stranger Things conversation. But the Fantastic Four screenings have not been that good either. A lot of people are pushing back on Fantastic Four, and there's a lot of problems with that. A lot of people are not happy with it. So July is going to be an interesting month with Superman and Fantastic Four, Marvel and DC going head to head. Who's going to come out on top? And whoever the winner is it going to be anything that's going to keep the fan base around and excited going into the next phase of both cinematic universes? Because this could be it, man. I mean, I don't want these movies to fail. I love these movies. The older I get, I want to still see my favorite characters on screen telling stories, just like I read them in comic books, but they got to be good. Like, they have to be. I'll always be honest with you guys. If I like something, I like it. If I don't like it, I'll tell you. I'm never going to lean one way or the other just because I want to get viewers or clicks or whatever. That's just not me. So I'll tell you, I want Superman to be good. I want Fantastic Four to be good. I have worries, though. It's not hard to do a Superman movie. It's only hard when you have egos and people that don't read comics try to project their own version. One thing I'll say about James Gunn, that he is a comic fan. And I think I've heard him express that he's a big Superman fan. So I think at least in that aspect, he's going to take care of the character, at least to what he thinks. Then the problem I have, or the worry I have, is what does he think taking the care of the character is? You know, how does he project the character? I do think that the movie is bloated with too many characters to a point. I think some of the casting has been bad. So there's a lot to prove, in my opinion. There was a lot of preemptive, well-deserved trash talking about Thunderbolts, but I saw it, I liked it, and willing to see it again. That's a great point. Now, I haven't seen it, but Duck Bacon, that's a great point, because I heard a lot of people say they liked it. Universally, everybody I've seen or heard that said they liked that movie or saw it said they liked it, and it still didn't do well. It's still, I think, only reported, $360 million that is made worldwide on a $180 million budget. That's breaking even at best, you know? So you got to think, for a movie that was relatively good and projected good by the people who saw it, still did poorly. What does that say about the comic book stuff in general? Like, have these studios absolutely lost the faith of people? The answer would be yes. How did they get that back? We don't know. I watched Captain America, was it Brave New World, the other day for the first time. I was bored. I was like, it's on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it. Garbage. It was bad. It was such a bad movie. I can't believe they even made it. Like, the acting was bad. The special effects were bad. You could tell they took their entire budget and put it into the Red Hulk, which actually looked pretty good. That was probably the best iteration of a Hulk I have seen live action. It looked legit. I dug it. That was it. Harrison Ford did a good job acting in that movie because he's Harrison Ford. He's going to. But Anthony Mackie was bad in it. And I like Anthony Mackie, but I couldn't get into his character. It seemed like it was forced. Everything in that movie was forced, and the story was not compelling. Who was the villain in that movie? I always forget his name. It was not Mastermind. That's a cartoon. The leader. The villain was bad. The storyline was bad. There was no stakes to it. You know, I was like, blah. You know, people were saying, like, you know, it was getting back to like kind of Winter Soldier vibes. It wasn't. Winter Soldier was an awesome movie. Well written, well directed, well acted. And this was not that. So I'm glad I never saw it in the theater. I'm glad that I called it from the get-go that was not a good movie. And, you know, I breezed through it and that was it. It didn't do well because both of them are both for the normies. They don't know or care for most of the characters in the movie. Yeah, that's true. Nobody knows who the Thunderbolts are other than comic fans picking characters. They are lame for the... Yeah, get-go is also a problem. There was a time where Marvel could do that. There was a time where Marvel could absolutely take characters like Guardians of the Galaxy and make them into an $800 million franchise or whatever, because they had the faith of the people and they cast right, and it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Those times are gone. You can't do that anymore. You need A-list actors and you need A-list characters if you want to have a movie be successful. They got to stop trying to just shoehorn in all these characters they think are going to land when they're not going to. So I think it's, like I said, go out and get some big name actors. We were talking about Daniel Day-Lewis, which I don't think is going to happen. But the rumor that they were targeting him to play Magneto, you need to bring in these big names to bring in some legitimacy to the movies again, to bring normies back. That's what you need to do, because you've lost the magic. You've lost the ability to bring in people just on the Marvel namesake itself, right? Same thing with DC. So we'll see. It's hard to get people to support you. It's easy to get people to lose interest, and that's what happened with Marvel plus Captain America movie without Chris Evans. Yeah, it was going to fail. And that's the thing, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but they went the DEI route with Captain America. And yeah, I know it happened in the comics as well, but everyone associates Captain America with, the normies do, with Steve Rogers. So I mean, departing from that, whether or not Chris Evans wanted to come back and be Captain America again, they could have recast him. They really could have. And kept on going with the Steve Rogers show with Captain America, and it would have made a lot more sense. I'm sorry, Anthony Mackie is not a lead man yet. He's not. He just isn't. I know he's had some starring roles with Carbon. Oh man, what is that show? It was a really good show. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, and he's had some starring roles in some TV shows, but he's not a lead actor. He doesn't have the name credibility to bring people to a movie just yet. So I think it was a mistake that they went that way and made him Captain America, one of the biggest names in the MCU, Iron Man and Captain America. And you got rid of them both at Endgame, which was fine, but you never had a plan for, or a legitimate plan of what you were going to do afterwards. And that was the biggest thing. Nobody wanted to see Falcon become Captain America. Nobody did. And they pushed it on us, and they continue to try to force feed us with everything, and this is where it's led us to. Heath Ward said both Thunderbolts and Last Captain America seemed more like a TV show than a movie. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It's probably Brave New World that ruined it for the MCU movie that came out right after. Yeah, that was a bad movie, man. It was bad. No doubt about it. I don't need A-list actors, just needed to be canon with the IP, no race swaps, no bullshit politics. Yeah, for us, that's what we would like. And I've said before, I like when a lesser-known actor comes in and you can identify them with that character and they grow with the character. The problem is for normies. Yes, thank you, Altered Carbon. That's what it was. Good show. I like that. He was the lead actor in season 2. It was a very, very underrated show. But for the normies, you're going to have to do something more to bring them in, right? Because comic book fans will always be a little bit curious. We're always going to be curious, be like, maybe not everybody, but guys like me, we're always going to dip our toe in it just a little bit, just to see if they corrected anything, to see if it's better. Normies they'll just be out, right? But if you get a big name, maybe they'll come in and check it out. Bionic Bra's in the house. What's up, bro? Says, hell, even passing the torch to Bucky would have been a smarter move. I agree. We've had more films focused on him, where most of Sam Wilson's story was in streaming show nobody watched. No, I agree. They should have gone with the Bucky route. If Bucky took over as Captain America 4 would have succeeded, because that's what everyone wanted. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys on that. I think everybody universally wanted that. That would have been the way to go. But DEI and stuff. That's the way they went. And this is what we ended up with. So. And unfortunately, it seems like a lot of times you think they'd be learning by now. And I thought they were. And I feel like slowly, maybe they're coming out of it, but they're still making the same mistakes. And we'll see if that leads it to the ultimate doom. These movies can't keep losing money. And I don't care what anyone says. Like, you get enough movies like Captain America, Brave New World loses money. Thunderbolts, as good as it might have been, loses money. If Fantastic Four comes out and doesn't meet the expectations of, what are they saying? Like, they're expecting to be like 134 million open weekend. That's what they're calling for. If it doesn't open up like that, 130 to 150, I mean, you're in deep trouble. Deep trouble. That, and you got to go up against Superman. You got to go up against Lost World, Rebirth. It's going to be interesting, man. All right, let me segue here to Stranger Things. Season 5. I'm a big fan of Stranger Things. I know it's taken forever. The only thing bad about this entire series is they take forever between seasons. This started in what, 10 years ago? I want to say. Like, I was still I think I just gotten with my wife at the time. We just started dating when this show started coming out. And it was so great because it was a show that could hit on those 80s. You know, I'm a 90s kid. I was a teenager in the 90s, but I was born in the 80s. So I always loved and had an affinity for that kind of 80s, you know, the Goonies, Stand By Me, you know, that kind of feel, you know, and then obviously the 80s horror. And so this movie just captured all of that. And it was great. The first season was great. Second season faltered a little bit. But then seasons 2 and 3 were really good. They just take forever to come out. And now the kids, they are in their 20s. You know, the actors are in their 20s. And they're still going to try to portray teenagers, whatever it is, what it is. But they're coming out with season 5. They're going to wrap it up. And I like it. I'm a fan of the show. I will continue to be a fan of the show. And they dropped this teaser. And a lot of it is old footage. But they do get into some new footage here. So let's check it out. By the way, guys, any Stranger Things fans in the chat, or anybody, comment below if you're watching this later. I want to know.
I think about that night.
I told my wife this as soon as we started watching this teaser. I was like, that is a horrible hairdo for Winona Ryder. It's just, I know she's getting older. And she was pretty damn attractive back in the day. You know, if you go back to Beetlejuice and Heathers and like all these movies back in the 80s and 90s, she was pretty damn good looking. And she's not bad looking for an older lady. Older. She's probably not that much older than me, so it's weird to say that. Anyway, bad hairdo. I would have gone with a different wig for this.
All the time.
Look how old these kids are. Hilarious.
The night it came for you.
They do a good job with this teaser. Just bring everybody back up to speed on everything that's happened over the last 10 years as these characters have developed. I always loved the concept of this show. I always loved that this show was meant for not necessarily kids, not necessarily families, but it was a show that where you could watch it from different age groups, but it still had enough intensity and actual characters dying to keep you on the edge of your seat, and just it made it a fun show, appealing to a lot of people.
All of this started.
Yeah, let's go.
Everything.
That season was the worst, I'd have to say. I think that was season 2. Was not a fan of that season. The Mall was cool. You guys remember malls? In your late 30s, 40s like me? Early 40s, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Mall was the shit when I was a kid.
We failed. But we need to be ready.
Volume 1, November 26th. My wife was really disappointed because she thought this was coming out in June. So did I for some reason. I don't know if they pushed it back or not, but all right. November 26th, Volume 1. Volume 2, Christmas. Volume 3, or the final, New Year's Eve. They are doing a smart thing with Netflix. It's annoying to me, but it's smart. Yeah, the Mall was dope. Hell yeah, it was. Shout out to the Mall. Sucks that they died off. I still have a mall in the city where I'm at, but it's not anything that it used to be. 60 plus. What was that? What's 60 plus a reference to? Oh. You're not saying your age. You're not 60. I don't know what you're talking about. I lost my train of thought. Oh, Netflix is being smart about this because they know that everybody just gets the free version of Netflix to binge watch something and they're out. Unfortunately, there was so much of that happening. They're like, all right, we're going to release this now in segments. So we're going to force you to at least at some point have to subscribe for at least a month to get these shows. So that's why we now get them broke up into 2. This is being broke up into 3, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. There we go. Oh, it looks sick. I always love the imagery in this show. It had some like alien vibe, like some H.R. Giger vibe. When it comes to fuck. What else? The hell was the name of the other world that they go to, the other dimension? I keep thinking of the Upside Down, right? Yeah, the Upside Down. That's badass. There's a lot of people goofing on this kid on social media because of this scene. I honestly don't think it's that bad. You know, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad at acting. I think people just they got to goof to goof. It gives me a little smile. It makes me laugh a little bit, but I don't think it's bad acting like some people are trying to make it out to be. It's fine. I've seen worse. Yes. Let's do it. The final season. Stranger Things. I'm actually kind of disappointed the series is coming to an end. Granted, you can't keep doing it because the kids are getting older. I mean, I guess you could with different actors, and actually, I hope they keep on doing it. Now that I'm talking myself into something different. Keep on doing it. Recast or not recast. Get a new group of characters, bring in young kids again, and tell a new story going forward. I think they could do that. That'd be fun. That'd be fine. Damn, she's 53. Who are we talking about? Oh, Winona Ryder? Damn, she's not that much older than me. Fuck. I mean, 10 years is a lot. Don't get me wrong. Okay. I'm 43, so I can still say she's an older lady because I'm still young. I'm in my 40s, but I did think she was older, so that makes me feel not too good about myself. Hail Lore says a YouTuber I know, his name is Raging Rhino, spoke about how we used to get 24 episodes a season and now we get 8 episodes every 4 years. Now it's unacceptable. I agree. The only thing I would push back on that is back in the day, you would get 24 episodes. Yeah, well, yeah, okay. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I do think that the episodes we get now, it does suck that we're only getting 8 as opposed to 24 back in the 90s. You think of like X-Files, Star Trek. Yeah, those were all 24 episode seasons. But things have changed a lot in the way they used to pick shows up. Back in the day, you would pick shows up for a few seasons, not just one. Now everything is on a one show basis because nobody wants to give a commitment to a show in case it fails so they can get out of it. So you get a one show commitment and you put all your time and effort and money into that season and those episodes. And usually they're higher budget shows. And sometimes they're longer than the hour it takes, so we're getting less episodes. Yeah, but we're getting better quality and a lot of stuff. And I have heard when it comes to Stranger Things season 5 that these shows each episode is supposed to be longer than the typical 40-45 minutes. Like they're supposed to be a little bit more like hour length, hour and 15 minutes from what I've heard. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but I agree with you on a point to that, but I also push back a little bit as well. Because things are just a little bit different, Yes. Hell yeah, my friend. Duck Bacon. I'm hyped there right with you. Look fine to me for 3 seconds of screaming. Yeah, I don't know what the scene is going to be. Maybe it's a highly emotional scene. Who knows? Maybe they're going to kill the character, which they need to kill one of the characters off. They do. They want to end on a dramatic note. One of these characters needs to not make it out of this situation. I was going to say this about last season, or not the last season, season 4, when the redheaded chick, can't remember her name offhand because I'm horrible with names, especially when these shows come out every 2 or 3 years, like Hale Lore was saying. They had a scene where she was going to be killed by Vecna. They set it up that way. They were pushing the drama. I was thinking to myself, like, oh man, they're going to kill her. This is great. Not because I wanted to see her character die, but it's nice sometimes to see that drama and raise the stakes with one of them actually dying so that it's like real, right? So far, all these characters have made it out alive. Will, he disappeared in season 1, and then they found him at the end of season 2. You know, he went into the upside down. He came back out, figured out he was gay, and we moved forward. But everybody survived, right? They need to kill off one of these characters. And I don't know who it should be, but somebody's got to die this season. Maybe 2 characters need to die, and I'm going to be disappointed if they don't kill somebody. Sheldon Martin is in the house. What is going on, man? Hope all is good.
Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney.
Oh, you know it is. Sheldon Martin, member of the channel, says, fork it. Let's follow their story till they're Winona Ryder's age. You know, I actually, people give shit about actors aging and all this kind of stuff. I don't mind that. It's kind of cool to see a character go from young to old, you know, like the Mission Impossible movies. That's kind of cool that they're still making those movies because it's neat to see a character age with the actor as they're telling stories. You know, not a bad thing. I wouldn't be opposed to it if these characters kept coming back into adult and had to keep on coming back and dealing with this kind of stuff. That'd be fun. I'd be fine with it. Show some of the animation definitely. Shows with animation definitely take longer to make. Old TV shows were just actors acting. Yeah, it's another thing to do. Like I said, the budget, there's a lot more that goes into it with the technology now of today. I mean, think of even shows back in the day like Star Trek. I mean, a lot of that's all models. Yeah, it took time to film, but not as much as it takes to render all the CGI and all that stuff. Same thing with X-Files, dramas, cop shows. There's not a lot that goes into that except for just filming the actors acting and getting them in their right environment. Yeah, animation makes more sense. It takes a little longer. Yeah, that's a great point. Man, they killed Eddie. They did, although I don't know if it's new footage or old footage. Eddie was a cool character. I really like this character. It'd be fun if he comes back. If somehow he didn't die. In this teaser trailer, they show him with the guitar on his back. Now, I'd have to go back and watch season 4 again to see if that was an image from the 4th season or if that was new. Because they're throwing in bits of new footage intertwined with the old seasons as well. So it's kind of hard. So I don't know. I mean, if you're showing him in the trailer, you don't just show characters in the trailer for no reason. Like if you notice, there weren't a lot of characters in the trailer from people that have just died meaninglessly. They had the redheaded chick's older brother that was in this trailer that died in season 3, I think it was. And then you had Eddie pop up. So maybe those characters are going to be coming back some way, some form. We're going to find out. Yeah. I was about to say, yeah. Her older brother. Yeah, the Red Power. I forgot he was in the Power Rangers movie. All right. For anybody that's interested, the synopsis for Stranger Things season 5. You guys remember they defeated Vecna, or 11 defeated Vecna, which was number 1, and sent him packing. He didn't die, but they took him out, and then you had a bunch of these giant caverns, these rifts open up, like the Upside Down was about to come up and take over the real world. And that was kind of the cliffhanger we were left on. I'm like, man, that's awesome. Where are they going to go from here? Well, it says the fall of 1987. Hawkins is scared by the opening of the rifts, and our heroes are united by a single goal: find and kill Vecna. But he has vanished. His whereabouts and plans unknown. Complicating the mission, the government has placed the town under military quarantine and intensifies its hunt for 11. So she's going to be on the run again, forcing her back into hiding. As the anniversary of Will's disappearance approaches, so does a heavy, familiar dread. The final battle is looming, and with it, a darkness more powerful and more deadly than anything they've ever faced before. To end this nightmare, they'll need everyone, the full party, standing together one last time. Sounds good to me. I'm sold. Let's go. Let's go. I think that sounds awesome. I'm ready to do it. Ready to do it. All right. Wrap up the show here. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. It's always fun just talking some of this pop culture stuff. The show is not very it's very laid back. We'll talk about whatever. I got some subjects in here. If you guys bring up anything in the chat, we'll definitely talk about that when it happens. But that's why I like this show to be a good start to the week. Dive into some fun things. Thursday. What day is it? I'm still thrown off by the holiday. It's Sunday, duh. Tuesday, the Spawn review, 8 p.m. We are looking at The Haunt number 1. So coming by, check that out. If you guys have read that, if you haven't, check it out. We're going to be looking at it. It's always a fun show when we get to talk some Spawn Universe stuff. With me, Sean, Zach, Paul, and the Gooch. Although lately Paul and the Gooch have been really busy with what they're doing, so it might just be the three of us, but you never know who's going to show up. Join us Tuesday, 8 p.m. for that. Here we go again, one more time, the return. They came back, the last ride. Thursday for Ott and Stuff, we have Jose Garcia on. Sean and I will be talking to Jose Garcia and talking about Joe Mad's Darksiders video game, looking at a bunch of the art and designs for that. So that'll be pretty fun. Then join us back here next Sunday, or this coming Sunday at 8 p.m. for the Ronin Joe Show. Yes, Haunt. It's something we've been wanting to do for a while. And we did the Creech not too long ago. And although they're not Spawn books, they kind of fall into the Spawn universe, in my opinion. So we're like, yeah, let's check out. There's so much Spawn stuff to look at that it's like, let's take a break every once in a while and look at some of these other cool things and just have some good conversation. But as long as I think that it's in the Spawn universe, we'll definitely take a look at it. By the way, guys, 130 people watching over on X. Shout out to the X people. 14 people here in the chat. We were as high as 20, so shout out to the core 20 that were in here. Appreciate you guys coming in and joining me as you do with all these shows every week. Hanging out and making the chat absolutely fun. I appreciate you very, very much for that. I think I'm going to wrap up the show and go get ready for the week, work and everything. But I hope I provided a little bit of entertainment and some, good vibes going into the week as we know it. I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's something important I'm supposed to be telling you guys, but if I can't remember, I'll tell you on the Spawn review. It's just how it works sometimes. Kind of tired, kind of burnt out. I'm going to get out of here. And look, shout out to the chat. You guys are awesome, like always. I'm going to say this like I do. Be good to each other. Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. Talk to y'all later. Peace.